Perfect. Okay. Hi. Congratulations on your film.
Thank you. I
I
appreciate
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to screen it a little bit ahead of time, and it's a great film. So could you tell me first how you even got involved with this project?
Oh, just like a regular actor out in Hollywood, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, auditioning left and right. The opportunity finally came. I heard about it the first time around when I was on the set of Tall Girl 2
Mhm. Okay.
company. So I was just like, hey, well, they might be working on something, which sounds pretty cool. Let me just go ahead and get my hands on the book. Got my hand on the book just in case. And next thing you know, the audition came in, and I was like, I had a feeling this might happen. So, fingers crossed, I went ahead through the entire process. McG was super intimidating just because he has so much energy. I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God, this guy's like, he's not even on the Zoom. He's here in my room right now yelling at me. But it was fantastic. And that's just kind of how it went. And next thing you know, I got the call while I was on another job. And then they were like, hey, look, you got the role. So get ready. And I was like, wow, this is sick. Like, this is fantastic.
Were you happy you had read the book previously though? When you finally got that confirmation that you've been cast, you're like, oh thank God I read that book.
Yeah, kind of. I was kind of like looking at it in the way where I'm like, oh, what are the differences of this and the script and yada, yada, yada. And I really couldn't find much of a difference. Of course, you have these minor little things, but like the cast and the crew, like everybody just, Netflix and the production and just everything just seemed so aligned with the story that we were trying to tell. And of course, I had my own little like I don't know, nervous breakdown. I'm like, am I doing the right thing for Croy here? Am I the right guy? What's he like? And what does he like to drink? I don't know. I'm asking myself all these crazy questions. No, but it was fantastic. Like I really, really did enjoy it. Reading the book prior to being on that.
And as you said, this is based on a book, and so a lot of the times, book when they have their film adaptations, there's already a following for this. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who are kind of like they know your character, they know this film. So as for you as an actor, how much did you feel there was a lot of pressure for you to bring this character to life? And at the same time, how do you take a character that's already established and make that character your own without, taking away from the character?
Yeah, I think it really boils down to I was in the beginning, this was my first time like really taking a character from a book and trying to bring that person to life.
Mhm.
I felt a bit of a pressure, but then it kind of went away when I just started tapping into myself and the similarities that I had with the character and the interest. And then when it came to the story, it was really just about the story. Like, hey, I am this character. I consider myself a leader. I'm strong. I want to protect my people. Like, these are the values that I have. Where can I tell that part of myself within the story and the script? And you know, it comes through very well in my opinion. I think, fingers crossed, in the film. And yeah, especially with Tally and my relationship with Keith and his role and his character is just it kind of just flowed. It really flowed naturally.
Mhm. I was going to actually talk about that, the relationship, because you do have a lot of different um, kind of relationship with so many different characters in this film. So how did you guys build that? Because as on one hand, you have such a good relationship with Keith Powers, David, and then not so much. Tally is a little whole different kind of story. So how do you build those relationships, but also keep a good chemistry across set?
Hanging out after sex. Yeah, you kind of just when the cameras are rolling, everyone's committed to their job. When they say cut, we're all just kind of going to go get some snacks at the same time. So you have that balance. We're all just kind of running over to the crafty and just grabbing the next bag of Doritos or somewhere.
Did you ever find it though a little bit challenging, especially in scenes with Joey, because you're you as you just said you build this really great kind of chemistry through hanging out and being friends and stuff, and then your characters are kind of at odds a bit throughout because your character is like, I don't trust you, I really don't. So did you ever find it hard in moments to like not break character, not laugh because you're like, this is Like
Yeah,
I'm committed, but still.
I would think the challenge was, not being too hard because at the same time, Croy is he's a understandable guy, he understands, he's a forgiving person. So that's really I didn't want to cross that line too much and say, look, this guy's like really just like, oh, so intimidating and he wants to know everything I'm doing and yada yada yada. But I thought, just I wanted to make sure that Croy came across as just protecting, making sure everything was cool. And yeah, I think that balance was there. I mean, it's not for me to say, it's more for you. But I think it was there, and that's something that I wanted to keep in mind that of course, like, hey, look, I have this character, that's really intense and just wants to make sure everything's done right. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm also vetting this person to make sure that she is a good person and valuable to us and that can withstand the smoke and be a part of us and wants to be true to herself as well, which is the most important, you know?
And I think this kind of goes back to more so your character and the thought process of your character, but there's not really much um knowledge of why he stayed with the Smokies. He went to go look for them, the lore of the Smokies, but then he doesn't come back. So in your opinion, what was it that was so the reasoning for why he stayed?
Family. You create a family at the end of the day. A lot of these kids, they run away and they don't know what's happened to their parents after their parents became pretty or whatnot, So I think it was just staying true to himself and not being stripped away from anything. Finding his own self-worth and being accepted also, because that's really important. When you're in Uglyville, you feel like you are less than everything else that's around you. When you're in smoke, you are, you're worshipped, you're cherished, and you're valued, you have a lot of worth, and we thank you for being here and helping us out because we're not dependent on this technology that everyone is talking about, like, so we welcome people with open arms. And I think that's what happened with Croy, in my opinion. He was kind of like this kid that didn't know what to do. He kind of wanted to be himself, and then once he found the smoke and maybe David's family, he felt at home. And that's why he likes to protect it so much.
And you guys also got to film in some really beautiful locations. So what was that like for you?
It honestly made me realize the capabilities of what a film set could do. You know, I was like, wow, this is intense. Like, how long did this take? Like, we have houses underground. Like, what? This is cool. Honestly, the set, especially for me, because I spend a lot of time in nature, around the trees and all these things, and we built this beautiful, beautiful set. Because I say this all the time. I'm like, I've spent the majority of my time when I was working in a high school set, and that's fantastic too. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. But when you step out of your comfort zone, and all of a sudden you feel like you have to make a fire to eat, and it's so beautiful, but there's cameras everywhere. You know, it's really eye-opening, and you're like, wow, like this is amazing. You can just really see the detail on and the commitment of every single person that's worked on this.
Yeah, no, it came across in the scenes because they were absolutely beautiful. So for my final, go on.
No, sorry. No, I was just saying I didn't. When I was out in the nature, there was no green screen or blue screen or anything like that. It was all real.
And that's unheard of a lot of times these days, is that they'll use green screen or blue screen, like you said, to basically fake nature when you could just, which is what is so nice about this film, is that your guys' scenes are actually shot in nature. So you're not sitting there being like, well, that doesn't look real. You're like, no, look at the beauty of our world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was very easy to bring it to life for us as actors because you're in it.
You're right there.
There's a
Okay.
lake.
Yeah. There's some trees. This is great. So for my final question for you, what is it that you hope either fans of the book or new people who have never read the book, what do you hope they take away from this film?
Oh, the power of free will. The choice is yours to do what it is that you want that makes you happy. Staying true to yourself. Um, and I hope they're content with the action, at the end of the day too.
I hope so too, because like I said, it really is such a fun film. You do a great job in it, and honestly, I cannot wait for everyone else to see it.
Thank you so much, Megan. That really means a lot. I appreciate that.